everybody, what's going on? I am Gregg Sussman, joined today by Jim Sannes of FanDuel, who's here to talk me off the ledge. What's going on, Jim?
I am not too bad, Greg. I hear you've had an interesting weekend with your fantasy football draft, so we're trying to distract you with a really fun slate for MLB DFS, so hopefully we can be successful, at least in that endeavor.
For the record, you said it wasn't that bad. You said it wasn't that big of a deal, so I feel a lot better already, so thank you.
I will happily take that, and like I said, I think that Leonard Fournette when you're paying all salaries, for the salary you paid for Fournette, I think it is totally okay. So you are forgiven, at least by me here.
Oh, all right. Nobody wants to hear about my fantasy football team because nobody cares about anybody else's fantasy football team but their own. But what they do care about is winning money on FanDuel tonight, and we're going to help them do that in fantasy baseball. So let's get into DFS baseball, and let's get into your top starter on the board. That takes us to Milwaukee, where Trevor Bauer is pitching tonight. And Bauer had a lot of detractors during draft season, in season long, but on the year, Bauer's been awesome. And this price tonight, well, it's obviously a lot. It's $12,000, but it's worth it for the way that he's pitching right now.
Yeah, and right now is always a key word of Trevor Bauer because his pitch mix is just constantly changing. But it seems like, at least for where he's at right now, it seems like he's found the proper pitch mix because we've seen Bauer, when he first came to the Reds, really upped his cutter usage. He's cut down on a bit this year, but it does seem like he's found the proper mix because so far in his 4 starts, he has a 44% strikeout rate. He has gotten 12 or more strikeouts in 2 of his 4 starts and had 9 in another. So you would hope he would stop tinkering just for like 2 starts maybe and let us ride this good wave because he's been awesome. It's not just the strikeout rate, it's also the volume because he pitches so deep into games. Even if he had a lower strikeout rate, his strikeout total would still be high because he goes like 110 pitches, and that's so hard to find in 2020. So Bauer, yeah, the salary is super high at $12,000, but he's getting a lot of strikeouts. He's facing a Brewers team that loves to strike out right now, and despite the fact that he's on the road, it's not a terrible environment for pitching this time of year. So I do think that Bauer is in a good spot and well worth his salary. It does force you to kind of figure out where you want to go at hitter, which we'll be talking about the hitters later on. You do need to kind of hover towards the 3,000 range for your hitters, but I think he's worth it for sure. If you're not as convinced about Bauer or worried that he will tinker with that pitch mix once again, I think that Lance Lynn at $9,800 is a good option. Also, Jesus Luzardo is $7,700. Both those guys are viable, but personally, I want to find the salary to get Trevor Bauer if I have just one lineup because that strikeout stuff has been just so good, and the matchup is equally good.
The strikeouts have been good for Bauer. The matchup is good for Bauer. But as you said, it's just hard to find a guy that's going to go deep into a game and you know you're going to get over 100 pitches. A guy that doesn't want to be taken out of the game, that's literally going to throw a fit if he is, or a fake fit, either one. But Trevor Bauer is the obvious start tonight. It's a lot of money. We're going to show you how to save for it because you need to get Bauer into your lineups tonight. That's why the 2 hitters that we're going to recommend, they're not expensive. That starts us with David Peralta. He's $2,900 tonight. We've constantly been all over Arizona and Colorado whenever they play each other in Coors Field. Tonight, they're not in Coors Field. They're back in Arizona, but you still like a Diamondback, and it's David Peralta. He's $2,900 tonight, Jim.
Yeah, they're in Arizona, and it seems like Chase Field is more than content leaving the roof open, even when it's like 109 degrees, which helps a ton from a hitting perspective because that is like 40 degrees warmer than it is when the roof is shut. So that's a big bump up to offense when they do decide to leave it open, which they've done pretty regularly so far this year. That's huge for this entire team, but I also like Peralta specifically because his numbers have been good this year, a 39% hard hit rate versus righties with just a 15% strikeout rate. You're getting that generally in the cleanup spot for $2,900. That is really intriguing. I like the Diamondbacks as a stack facing Ryan Castellani. Castellani, good numbers so far this year, but not a high strikeout rate. He's allowing a lot of hard contact. The minor league profile, despite pitching through injuries, which is worth noting, not one we need to be fearful of. So I think the Diamondbacks are a really good stack with a lot of good value options throughout this lineup, hovering around 3,000 between Cole Calhoun, Christian Walker, David Peralta, Eduardo Escobar. You can use those guys to help you get up to Trevor Bauer. So I think that they're my first stack of the night. I'm hoping they keep the roof open at Chase Field because that would make things even better. But even if they do decide to shut it, this is still a good stack, but it'll be a great stack if they keep things open. And David Peralta will be among the best hitters on the slate if they decide to do so.
Let's get that roof open. Let's get the ball flying out of Chase Field. Under $3,000 for David Peralta, something that's very tough to pass up. A game that you may want to stack here with Colorado and Arizona. especially if that roof is open. One more player to get to who's even cheaper, but has the same type of power, if not more so, than a David Peralta. That's Kyle Schwarber, but it's not an obvious spot for Kyle Schwarber, right? Like, it's not like he's playing in Wrigley Field or Coors Field. They're like, all right, let's go with Schwarber here. It's in Detroit. But what's going on here, Jim?
He's in Detroit and facing Casey Mize, who's really good. Casey Mize looked awesome in his debut. 7 strikeouts over 4 2/3. But when you look at the minor league profile of Casey Mize, you can tell he's going to be good long term. Like, his numbers are good, but are they going to be good right now? That first start against the White Sox, he did have 7 strikeouts, but he also let up 3 earned runs, and his strikeout rate in Double-A last year was 24%. He let up a lot of balls in play. Now, facing big league hitters, and sure, the Cubs don't have Chris Bryant, but there's still a lot of tough batters in this order, especially Kyle Schwarber. Schwarber is striking out quite a bit so far this year, as you would expect, but a 55% hard hit rate versus righties with a 38% fly ball rate, and you're getting that for just $2,700. The cool thing about the Cubs is that there's like no one more expensive than $3,300 in this entire team. Anthony Rizzo, Javier Baez, who's in a slump, but still one of the higher upside hitters in baseball. You can get those guys and still use Trevor Bauer as your pitcher, which is why I am okay with stacking against Mize, despite how good he looked in that debut last week. And if I am doing that, the first guy I'm going to lock in is Kyle Schwarber. Massive power at $2,700, facing a righty. Jason Hayward is $2,600, not as big of a fly ball guy as Schwarber, but he has a low salary, making good contact so far this year. So I think between the Cubs and the Diamondbacks, you should have enough value plays in order to afford Trevor Bauer, and that's why I want to do so for tonight. The Cubs especially just carrying lower salaries than they should. And I think this is a spot where we can't take advantage of that and stack against Casey Mize.
I love it. He started off a Kyle Schwarber push by saying how awesome Casey Mize is. Of course, it was only a start, but we'll see what Casey Mize can bring in start two. Much tougher here, facing off against the Chicago Cubs, best team in baseball at this point. But the salary is not exactly high, as you mentioned here, for the Cubs in general. Kyle Schwarber, a very good value start tonight if you're trying to get in Trevor Bauer, which you're saying you have to do, which means I guess we're going to have to go with Kyle Schwarber in our lineups this evening. That's going to do it for us here on the FanDuel Hurry Up. Jim, we appreciate the time. Good luck tonight.
Thank you. Same to you, Greg. I hope you can use this slate to cleanse your palate after your draft and feel a little bit better about yourself. Pretty fun slate for doing so. Good options at pitcher and enough options at stack. So should be a pretty fun one here on Monday.
Jim, as we all know, when you come into a fantasy football draft feeling good, it's never good. So I want to feel bad like I do. So things are going to go well, and they're going to go well tonight in my DFS lineup. For Jim Zonis, I'm Gregg Sussman. Join us tomorrow when Tom Beckiel will join us to talk some more DFS. Have a great night. Enjoy the games, and we'll see you back here tomorrow for another edition of the FanDuel Hurry Up.